part of his gift is making you relate and believe in the people and the circumstances, so that when things go sideways, you're unprepared.
Do you guys have a memory of the first Stephen King story or movie that you interacted with and that kind of left an impact on you?
I think the first one that I saw was Stand By Me. That changed my whole thing about acting. I mean, I'll never forget that moment when I saw it the first time. My mom was like, "We have to watch this movie now." You're like, "You're old enough, you can watch it." And that was the first kind of moment that I ever really interacted with Stephen's work. I felt connected to it. I felt that the actors on that really knew what they were doing and knew their characters. And after seeing that film, it kind of changed the whole meaning of acting for me. And now seeing Chuck, it's a completely different thing than what I think Stephen and Mike have done in their careers. And I think from Stephen's book to Mike's writing to Mike putting it on the screen, it really resonates with people really deeply.
It just shows his versatility.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about The Body, which became Stand By Me, but one of the first ones I read was Pet Sematary, which is absolutely unbearably terrifying. Someone suggested to me, you should read Shawshank Redemption or The Body, Stand By Me, or Green Mile. And it's amazing how versatile he is. Mm-hmm. It's almost a shame that he's typed as a horror director when there's so many other emotions that he elicits, not only in his non-genre work, but in something like The Shining. There are such human, relatable moments. I think that's part of his gift, is making you relate and believe in the people and the circumstances, so that when things go sideways, you're unprepared.
For me, it was definitely Stand By Me, but what was your defining Stephen King kind of introduction?
So my father was a huge Stephen King fan and had every single book. But because we were young, my sister and I, those books weren't like upstairs where we keep all the family books, which is like way before people had internet and they had lots of books like you have there.
Yes.
So all of the Stephen King books were in the basement in a huge floor to ceiling bookshelf. And I knew that like those books were not off limits. Those were naughty, dark books. And so immediately I was like, I need the naughty, dark books.
Of course.
So I sneak downstairs at like 9 or 10 and like read a Stephen King book until I was so scared. I had to run into my sister's room. And I remember it feeling like a intellectual roller coaster. Just being like, I didn't know books could do this. They could transport you like this. And it taught me everything I knew about storytelling. It taught me everything I knew about bravery and how to withstand impossible circumstances, because Stephen King is never writing about the clown in it. He's writing about the kids.
Yeah.
And he's never writing about all of the terrible gods of the lost in The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon. He's talking about survival. And it just taught me the type of person I want to be.
The reality is that my mom was and is to this day a voracious reader.
Yay.
It's passed that down to myself and to my daughter, my oldest daughter. But my mom had a standing order that any bookstore we ever went to as a family, I was always allowed to buy a book. And at some point on this journey, she's like, you should buy this book. And she handed me Christine, the book.
Wow.
Christine. And I remember being on the way on a family vacation in the back of the car. When before phones and before, sort of the way to distract yourself, I was sitting there reading Christine, and I'll never forget it. It was a monumental experience for me, and one of the reasons I became such an avid reader.
For me, it's seeing The Shining, or not seeing The Shining, because my dad really built it up in my head. He was like, this is the scariest film ever made. I couldn't get through it. It was just terrifying. And I don't know if I was allowed to watch it or I was just too scared to watch it. But I was watching all the other ones, like The Exorcist and everything. And then it just built up and up and up in my mind. And then I finally saw it and I was like, that is really scary. But it's also one of the coolest, most well-crafted films I've ever seen. It's my top film. It's my favorite film of all time.
Here's Johnny.
I jumped into the deep end. I read It.
Okay, yeah.
And to be completely honest, it took me forever to work through just because it's so dark and heavy. And I realized that although that story, I mean, characters are children, it's about innocence and how the world seeks to corrupt it and destroy it. And I don't think I was ready to read it at that time. But this one, it's a celebration of joy and innocence. So I think if there are any cautious readers out there, Life of Chuck would be a great place to start, or If It Bleeds.
Fill the whole thing. It'll be a universe.